Right. Oh, what a strike that is!
Hello, everyone. Been quite a while, quite a long time. I mean, I was on Josh's channel. He was in the chat a few days ago, and that was the first time I was really on here, on this platform, talking for ages, really. So yeah, big up, chat. Hope you're all doing well. As I said, he's in the chat. I'm going to get onto that actually later on in the video. We've linked with that Brighton winger. Good player. He is a good player. Don't massively rate Brighton that highly. But Simon Adingra, not bad player. Not a bad player. We'll definitely get on to talking about that. But the first player that I want to talk about, the GOAT, the best striker of all time. Yeah. Nketiah. We're going to talk about him because the news broke out a few days ago from a French journalist saying Marseille have had this offer turned down for the Lens striker Wahi. I don't know how you say the guy's name, but he cooked against us in the Champions League last season, scoring against Arsenal. I remember we were linked with him when Balogun left. So there's definitely a player in there, but Marseille had 3 attempts rejected, stalled, rejected, whatever. So it looks like he's going to be staying at Lens this season. And then the reports came out. Arsenal's valuation of Eddie Nketiah. Arsenal's valuation of Eddie Nketiah is going down to 25 million euros, which, to put into perspective, Marseille's bid for him a few weeks ago was 27 million euros. So you'd think the deal would have been done by now and that they'd be able to get it all on a permanent deal for 25 million euros, considering they bid 27 million euros. But it looks like it's going to be a loan with an obligation at the end of the season, which means absolutely nothing. Obligation, option, there's no difference in football nowadays, because even if it's an obligation, it's not going to be confirmed as a permanent deal, is it? And then you got an option, which is, well, clue in the name, optional. But I always thought obligation was, it would be done next season, but clearly not. As there have been obligations to buy last season. Nuno Tavares to Nottingham Forest. That was a loan with an obligation. How come he didn't join Forest permanently? And big up Lee Judges off AFTV, because he said in a podcast, he said a few days ago, back in the day, loaning a player out meant he spends a season somewhere, maybe 2 seasons, maybe half a season somewhere else, and then they come back as a better player for that respective club. But that's not what loans are used for nowadays. Loans are used because clubs like Arsenal, like Manchester United, they loan these players out because, the clubs that are loaning these players in just can't afford permanent fees. You look at Sambi Lokonga, who's left Arsenal this season, Nuno Tavares, there's a few others as well. Reece Nelson looks like he could be going out on loan. Why can't these deals be done permanently? They're all loan deals and they all mean nothing because they're not going to be playing for Arsenal again. Aaron Ramsdale, another one, looks like he's going to be leaving on loan. But Eddie Nketiah also looks like he's going to be leaving on loan with an obligation to buy to Marseille for 25 million euros at the end of the season, which might not even happen. So it's an interesting one. I'm just going to get the tweet up. Where is it? Here it is. We'll use this one. This one seems good enough. Arsenal striker Eddie Nketiah's representatives are now in France trying to finalise his move to Marseille, along with an obligation to purchase for £25 million next season being discussed. Fabrizio, I believe, said it was 25 million euros. Could be wrong there. It might be 25 million pounds. But either way, I just don't think this is a good deal. Get the money in now, really. I mean, they put in 27 million euros, so why can't they pay 25 million pounds? It's silly. It is silly. I really don't get that. But yeah, Eddie Nketiah looks like he's going to be on the way out. And now a transfer which I'm actually quite jealous of. I would have taken this guy. Excuse me. I would have taken this guy to replace Nketiah. Here he is. Hold on. Let's have a look. This is the guy. Here it is. Fabrizio Romano. Bosh. Big Dom Solanke is a Tottenham player. How do you guys feel about this one in the chat? How do you guys feel about Dominic Solanke, who came out and said that his first ever football shirt that he received was an Arsenal one? He is now wearing a Tottenham shirt and will be wearing a Tottenham shirt next season. How do you guys feel about that one? 65 million. He is Bournemouth's record sale as a £65 million package. And he has signed a 6-year contract at Spurs. Yeah, this is a very good deal, I think, in my opinion. I think this guy to replace Nketiah wouldn't have been bad at all. I would have taken him at Arsenal. £65 million. You got Liam Delap, who's gone to Ipswich, barely played any Premier League minutes. He's going for big money. Tony's going for big money. Dominic Solanke is a goal scorer. Yeah, he scored 19 goals in the Prem last season. Yeah. He's been doing it in the Championship. He's done it in the Premier League. I think this is the guy that we should have at least. I know there were rumours going around in January, but I think we should have taken this deal further. I really do think that we should have taken this deal further, and I think the comparisons between this guy and Richarlison. No, there's no debate. This guy's better than Richarlison. He's Spurs' best striker now. They finally replaced Kane. I think they were trying to replace Kane with Richarlison, but that never worked out. Yeah, so they've gone in for Solanke. And although Richarlison showed glimpse last season, I think this guy is Spurs' long-term striker. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that one because I'm quite jealous. Admittedly, I'm jealous, but I'm going to go through the comments now. As I said, we will be talking about Simon Adingra later. Jordan in the chat, Luca in the chat, big up to both of you. Solanke going to Spurs is a decent signing. I agree. Do you think Arsenal need a centre forward? Well, if Eddie Nketiah is leaving, which, you know, Josh, we were on the stream together a few days ago. I'm going to basically echo what I said there. If the front line and the attackers don't change, nothing changes, no one goes, no one leaves, then no. But Nketiah is leaving now, so probably yes. We probably do need a striker. Look at AFC up there. Okay, Dons. Yeah. Good game today. Crawley won their first game in League One. Up the Red Devils, biggest Red Devils in England. Tony is still there. Yeah, he's still an option. I know you're an Eddie fan, but for me, Solanke wouldn't be bad. I agree. I think Solanke would have been good. Why have we sent Nketiah online? I don't get it. Yeah. They bid a few weeks ago 27 million euros, which we turned down. Fair enough. We turned the bid down trying to get more money. But now we've lowered our valuation of him and we're sending him out on loan for them to possibly pay end of the season, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This guy said Solanke wouldn't be good enough for Arsenal. Who? Luca? I just want a centre forward and a Saka cover. Same. No, I still rate Nketiah. I just don't rate, like Edu when it comes to outcomes. Because if you're going to lower the valuation, what's the point of declining 27 million euros for him? It's ridiculous. But the next player I want to talk about, and I think this is not a good deal at all. At all. I think this is probably the worst deal we've seen so far. He has now completed his medical. It's not long till this officially gets announced. Yeah, he's literally getting announced to the fans tomorrow. He's going to be in the hospital beds for the majority of the season. This will be an interesting one to see what happens. But Pedro Neto to Chelsea, yeah, I'm not feeling this one at all. No, I just don't get it. Pedro Neto to Chelsea, here we go. Wolves accept bid worth 60 million euros, fixed fee plus 3 million in add-ons. So yeah, could possibly be 63 million euros. Yeah, I mean, Wolves are going for a replacement already. This guy's getting announced to the fans. It's not. No, it just. I'm not going to dig in at Chelsea's board because this could work out as a very good signing for them. But one, it's expensive. Two, Chelsea don't need him. Three, Wolves are losing out on one of their front three stars, really. Because if you think about it, that front three combo of Matheus Cunha, Hwang Hee-chan, and Pedro Neto, for me, that was one of the best in the league last season when they were all, playing together, getting that chemistry up. I think Wolves are losing out there because they're losing out on one of their best players, and they might be in a position where they need to sell, but this deal I think it's bad for all parties. I really do. But I've seen Arsenal fans on Twitter saying that this could potentially open up a deal for Mykhailo Mudryk coming into Arsenal. But yeah, it's annoying as well because, you know, as an Arsenal fan, I'm now seeing other clubs doing transfer business when we're just sat down. You know, we've been hearing the same thing for Mikel Merino for the past month. We had the same thing with Calafiori for like 3 weeks before we actually went in with a bid for him. So it sucks to be an Arsenal fan right now in the transfer window. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's not great at all. I'm going to read through some of your comments on this one. What's the YouTuber big up? You too, Matt. I hope your holiday's going well. Shame on you, John Lewis, in the last minute. Oh, all right. For me, I'm not bothered with Neto going there. I mean, he's not going to play. He's not going to play. Chelsea, but I'm not annoyed that we have. I'm more annoyed that we haven't sold Eddie for money. It's ridiculous, honestly. Speaking of Reece James, he's just picked up another hamstring injury. Yeah, he's going to be in the hospital bed next to Pedro Neto all season next year. It's just the way it is. But the next one, I'm not going to talk about a specific deal here. I'm going to talk about a club. One club who I think is doing really well in the transfer window. There's two clubs who I think are standing out in the transfer window right now. One being Manchester United. And there's 3 deals that have gone through today involving Manchester United, 2 involving right backs, and 1 including a central defender, which I think they need. We're going to talk about the central defender first. I know people have got their opinions on this one. Matthias de Ligt to Manchester United. It was a here we go confirmed today by Fabrizio Romano again. I've just realised I've put the hairband in for this stream and it's just exposing my forehead. No, I don't like that. Don't like that. Here we go. Buy and accept Man United deal. It's basically 50 million euros, which the payment is going to be spread over the next 3 years, which is it's weird how clubs are doing their payments with PSR and all of that stuff. But he signed a 5-year contract with an option of a 6th, which is how clubs are getting away with it, really. With can you hear that dog next door? Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Oh my God, and he's barking his little head off. Let me just close the. Right, back again. So what I was saying was the way clubs are getting around this PSR issue with the amount of money that's being spent is long contracts. We've seen it with Chelsea, 100 million on Mudryk, 100 million on Enzo, 115 or whatever it was on Caicedo. They're getting away with it because of the long contracts that they're giving out to the players. 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 6 years, 7 years, 5 years. It's crazy. And it's a way around it. So fair play. And that's why we're seeing all of these big deals go through. De Ligt, I think it's strong. It strengthens the Manchester United back line. Obviously, they play today in the Community Shield. They have very bad injuries at the back. They had to play Maguire and Johnny Evans at the back, who yeah, not great on paper. But they did have Lenny Yoro, new signing, out injured. Lindelof, new sign. No, he's been there for ages. Lindelof is also out injured. But I think this deal, when it goes through, will be a big one. Adds depth, potentially a starter. Maybe Lenny Yoro, when he comes back, will go back out on loan. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But the next one I'm going to talk about is an outgoing from Manchester United. Aaron Wan-Bissaka to West Ham. Now, originally, West Ham were going in for Mazraoui from Bayern Munich, but that has not happened. They have gone to they have gone for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is having a medical on Sunday, so that is tomorrow. £15 million fee. The right back, yeah, I think he's better than Carvajal. He's better than what West Ham have got. He'll probably start from week in, week out. We've seen what he can do with slide tackling. I think it's a good deal. I think it is a good deal for £15 million as well. You know, defensive-wise, one-on-one, he's one of the best in the league. Best right-backs in the league. I think he's up there. £15 million. He's a homegrown player as well. Better than what West Ham have got, so you can't really go wrong with that. And with that going through, that means Mazraoui has now gone to Manchester United for 20 million euros, which someone like Mazraoui, it's not a bad deal, is it? 20 million euros, you could call that a bargain. He's signed a 5-year deal at Manchester United with an option of a further year. Now, I think what's interesting about all of these Manchester United deals that I've talked about with the incomings, you know, under Eric Ten Hag, they've signed Anthony, previously worked under Ten Hag. Lisandro Martinez worked under Ten Hag. Obviously now De Ligt. He had Donny, Van der Beek. He has Onana. You know, he signed a lot of players who he had at Ajax who, let's not forget, got quite deep into the Champions League. Obviously, they lost the semi-finals iconically to Tottenham. But if you think about it, a lot of players in that team, which, you know, Ten Hag was manager of at the time, they've all now come to Manchester United. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know if that's going to work because you've not really seen many of those transfers, which he's worked with before work. What's the one I'm looking for? Be a success, really. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. But yeah, interesting. And the final one that I want to talk about, back to Arsenal. If I can get it up, here it is. Simon Adingra. I don't know what the chances are of this happening. As I said, I don't really rate Brighton as much as I used to, mainly because they're massive fall down. De Zerbi's left now. But yeah, Arsenal are monitoring Brighton. Simon Adingra, a potential summer transfer move on the cards. For me, there's better options. I want Noni Madueke from Chelsea. I think he's a baller. Simon Adingra, I don't think pass is the right word for him. I think he's a good player. I think there's a player in there. And he's still young, but no, I think there are better options, really, than Simon Adingra. So for me, I mean, if we sign him, I'm not going to be like crying. I don't think it's the end of the world. I still think it would be a good deal, but there are better options. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. Kind of talked about everything that I want to talk about. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I'll see you all later. Really. Yeah, goodbye.